Alright, so today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about complex fractions. A complex fraction without variables, problem type 1, and complex fractions involving multivariate monomials, and this is for module 4. Okay, so this can be a little confusing, but let's talk about some of the stuff. Key terms. Basically, a complex fraction is stacked fractions with two fractional expressions on the top of the other. And I know you can't see the top of the other, but that's what it's going to be. Okay, the example here. Okay, this is a complex fraction. Okay, now I don't know about you, but when I first look at this, that looks really intimidating. You're like, okay, what the heck do? I have a fraction on top of a fraction, plus there's all these variables and all these exponents, and this is really confusing. And that's true. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down piece by piece. Let's start first with the topic that's without a variable. Okay? So the first one, you've got 8/9 divided by 2/5. Okay? So 8/9 divided by 2/5. Now, think about it. When we're dividing a number, okay, when we divide fractions, we're going to use this rule. You want to, well, first let's split them into the numerator and denominator. That's the first thing. So numerator is the top number, denominator is the bottom. So the numerator goes first, and then the denominator. Now, what I was talking about, that rule, or that thing that helps us remember, is the KFC, and we're going to use this a lot today. Oops, not KFC. KCF, sorry. Okay, we're going to use keep, change, flip. Keep means keep the first one the same. Change means change the multiplication to a division, or division to a multiplication, and flip means flip your second fraction. Okay, so let's look and see how this is done. So we changed the multiplication to a division. You could see how I did that. If I went back, remember it was division, and I change it to a multiplication. Then I'm going to flip the second one. Okay, flip only the second one, so 2/5 reciprocal, which is 5/2. Now the last step is I want to multiply straight across. So I'm going to go 8 times 5. We'll just delete some of this writing now. So we're going to go 8 times 5, and then 9 times 2, so that's 40/18. And if we can reduce that down, we try to. 40 divided by 2 and 18 divided by 2, that's going to give us, okay, so this would be our answer. Let me show you this. So if we divide each one by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, 40 divided by 2 is going to be 20, and 18 divided by 2 is going to be 9. So then that's your answer. That's how you're going to get this. Okay? So that's how you do dividing fractions with no variables. Okay, so let's practice some of these. Okay, 9 divided by 2/9. Okay, let's think about this. Well, 9 is our numerator, so we're going to put 9 divided by 2/9. Okay, but what can we put 9 over? What can we put any number over? 1. Good. So we say 9/1. Now, second thing we want to do is we want to do our keep, change, flip. So we keep, change, and flip. Okay, so keeps the same, 9/1. Change it to a multiplication, times, and then flip this one. So what would 2 9ths be flipped? Good. 9 over 2. So then you just multiply straight across. 9 times 9, 81. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 doesn't go into 81 evenly because that's a doesn't go into, it's an odd number. So therefore, your answer is just 81 over 2. So that's what you'd put for your answer. Okay, so remember, do your keep, change, flip. Okay, let's look at our second one. 4/3 divided by 2. So what number is going to go first, the 4/3 or the 2? Yeah, the 4/3. So we're going to say 4/3 divided by 2. And then what can we put 2 over? What do we put any number over? 1. Good. So then we do our keep, change, flip. So see if you can do that. Maybe pause the video for a second and then try this. Okay, you can unpause. When you're done unpausing it, here's what you're going to do. You're going to do the 4/3 times 1 over 2. Then again, just multiply straight across. 4 times 1 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. But let's see if we can reduce it. And we divide, can we divide by the same number? Yeah, divide each one by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So there's our answer, 2/3. So that's how we divide complex fractions without variables. Okay, we'll try 2 more. Okay, so again, pause your video, solve these, then when you're ready, unpause your video and I'll go over how to solve them. Okay, so we're going to go 7/6 divided by 2 over 1. So then we're going to do our keep, change, flip. Okay, so keep the 7/6 the same, times, and then flip this one, which makes that 1 over 2. So we end up multiplying straight across and we get 7, and then 6 over 12. Can we reduce this? Is there anything that goes into 7 and 12? No. So that's our answer. Okay, let's go to the next one. So when we look at this, we're going to say 15 over 16 divided by 5 over 9. Okay. Then again, we do our keep, change, flip. Okay. So we get 15 over 16 times 9 over 5. Now, if you can cross-reduce, I would recommend it. So I'm going to show you on this one how to cross-reduce so you don't have to reduce at the end. Well, 5 goes into 15. 5 goes into 5 once, and 15 3 times. 9 and 16, well, 16 is 4 and 4, and so that's it. So then we multiply straight across. 3 times 9, 27. 6 times 1, or 16 times 1, 16. So there's our answer. 27 over 16. All right? So that's how we do it without the fractions, okay? Or without variables. Now let's try it with variables. So you have 3ab squared, and then you have 9b squared, or 9b to the fourth divided by 5c to the fifth d to the fourth. So this is the same thing. We're going to do the same thing. We're first going to separate the two terms, identify the numerator and denominator, and split them. So we end up getting 3ab squared over 15c squared d squared divided by 9b to the fourth over 5c to the fifth d to the fourth. So we just separate them. Then we do our keep, change, flip. If you can see, we changed it again from division to multiplication, and we flipped the fraction. Now we can multiply across and solve. So we're going to multiply the numbers together. 3 times 5. We're going to multiply the 5 times 9 together. Okay, then we're going to multiply the a's together, the b's together, c's and d's, so on and so forth. So you get 3, this is all times in between these. And then 15 times 9. Okay, now, if you can reduce this, well, we know 3 and 5 make 15. So let's simplify that. Okay, 3 and 9, well, that makes 1 and 3. And then 5 and 15 makes 1 and 3. So you end up getting 1 over 9. So that's your first part. Okay, and you can put a 1 here if you want to. Okay, so 1 over 9, that's how you do your numbers. So basically, or you could just do 3 times 15, and then 15 times 9, divide it down, and you end up getting 1/9. Okay, second thing is we put all our a's together. Well, there's an a on top, but there's nothing on bottom. So this a stays on top because there's no other a's on bottom. Now let's look at our b's. We've got b squared over b to the fourth. Well, think about that. B squared means 2b's, right? And b to the fourth means 4b's. So if we cancel out our like ones, we can cancel out 2 of each of the b's. So how many b's are left over? 2, but where are they? Are they on top or bottom? Yeah, they're on bottom because there's more b's on the bottom. So that's where we're going to keep our b on this case. So we're going to, subtract our exponents, or so go 2 minus 4, which is negative 2, which is basically 1 over b squared. Okay, and I'm going to erase that real quick. Okay. Next step, we're going to do our c's. So c to the fifth over c to the third. So what do you guys think that's going to be? We're subtracting our exponents. It's going to be c to the second, but is it going to be on top or bottom? On top, because there's more on top than bottom. So that's why we put our c squared up here. Finally, we do our d's. D to the fourth over d. Okay, and d counts as a 1. So let's subtract our exponents. 4 minus 1. It's going to be 3. So is it going to be d to the 3 on top or bottom? Which one has more on top or bottom? Top. So that's going to go in there. And there's your answer. We'll just delete that 1 because that looks a little confusing. So your answer is a, if you want to put 1 in front of the a, that's fine, but a times c squared times d to the third and then times 9, and then b squared. And that's your answer. Okay? So let's practice with this. Okay? So this one I'd say walk through it with me, and then the next one, you can do on your own. So we're going to go rewrite it, 6p squared q over 7mn squared divided by 3p to the third q to the fourth over 21 n to the fifth. Well, remember, we got to do our keep, change, flip, which is going to equal 6p squared q, that stays the same, 7m n squared, times, and then we just flip it, 21 n to the fifth over 6, sorry, let me go back, let me erase that one, over 3p to the third q to the fourth. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to multiply our numbers. But let's see if we can do any cross-reducing. So we're going to go 6 times 21 over 7 times 3. Well, I can see a couple ways we can cross-reduce. 6 and 3, that makes 1 and 2. That makes 1 and 3. So when we multiply across, we're going to get 6 for our top number. So we know that on the top it's going to be 6. Okay, so we'll do each part. Then we're going to look at the p's. Well, if you look at the p's next, you have p to the second over, if you notice, there's only a p to the third on this one. So what is 2 minus 3? 1, and is it going to be on top or bottom? Bottom. Good. So this is p, or p to the 1 if you want to put. Okay, let's look at the next one. We'll start with actually m and n. So you can see right here, m, there is no m's on top. There's only an m on the bottom. So if there's only an m on the bottom, we don't have to worry about that. That stays on the bottom. Okay, then we do the n's. Okay, you can see 5 up here, 2 down here. So n to the fifth over n squared. Okay, subtract them, and we get n to the third. So is that going to be more on top or bottom? Top. So n squared, or n to the third, sorry. Okay, last one is the q's. You have a q here and a q to the fourth here. So we got q over q to the fourth. And remember, what is q the same as? Q to the what? 1. So 1 minus 4 is going to be 3. Is that going to be on the top or bottom? Which has more? The bottom. So this is going to be q to the third. And so that's your answer. 6n to the third, pm q to the third. Okay, good job. Okay, let's look at, so that's your answer. Let's try it for the second one. Okay, so what I want you to do is try this on your own separate sheet of paper, pause it, and then we'll go over it. Okay, now that you're done, let's go over this. So I'm just going to flip it right away just to save space. So 20n to the fourth over 7p p to the fourth q to the fourth times, and again I just flip it, 28 p squared q over 5m n squared. Okay? So we're going to multiply across and see it. So we're going to go, remember, 20 times 28. Let's do a bigger fraction bar here. And then 7 times 5. Let's first cross reduce to make our, our numbers easier. We'll cross reduce on this. 5 goes into that 4 times. 7 goes into 28 also 4 times. So we're going to get 4 times 4, which is 16. Okay, so that's going to be on the top. Okay, the next one we've got p m. Well, we'll do m first. So m, if you can see right here, that's again just there's one m on the bottom. There's no other m's anywhere else. So that's an easy fix. When we do that, that's just going to be m right here. Okay. Next one. Talk about n's. So you have n to the fourth on top. And then if you notice, you have n squared on bottom. So fourth squared. So that's what you get. So you get 4 minus 2. Is that going to go on top or bottom? Yeah, it's going to go on top. So that's going to be n to the fourth. Or second, sorry. Okay. Next step, we do our MNP. Okay, if you notice there's p to the fourth on the bottom and p to the second on top. So we go p squared over p to the fourth. So this is kind of reverse. So 2 minus 4 is still 2, but this time it's going to be on the bottom. So p squared. Okay. Then, looks like we're running out of space over there. We have to do our m, n, p, and then q. So our last thing is our q. So we're actually, I'm just going to do it down here to show you. You've got q on top, and you've got q to the fourth on bottom. So that's q to the 1 minus q to the 4. So is that going to be 3 q's on top or bottom? Bottom, good. So that's going to be q to the third. And so now we've covered all of them. So that's your answer, 16n squared mp to the second q to the third. Okay. So, hopefully you get the point of this. Okay. So on this one, we'll do 3t to the 4, so you can pause it for a minute after, so you can do this, and then make sure you get the right answer. So I'm just going to multiply it out, 5rs to the second, 9t to the third u. Okay, and then equals, do our fraction, 3 times 5 over 20 times 9. So again, we can cross reduce. That's 1 and 3. That's 4 and 1. So 4 times 3 is 12, so it's going to be over 12. Okay, then if we do our other ones, we'll look for our t's, or s first, r. So we'll say r. There's only one r, so that goes on top. The s's, there's 2 on top, s to the 2, and s to the 5 on bottom. So what's 2 minus 5? 3. And since there's more on the bottom, we're going to say s to the 3rd on the bottom. Then we're going to do our t's. T to the 4th over t to the 3rd. 4 minus 3, 1. So there's a t up here. And the last one's u. You have u to the 4th. We're going to do it down here. U to the 4th over, because that's that u, and u right here. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So u to the 3rd. And that's it. That's going to be your answer. So, what I want you to do is, if you're watching this recording, you need to answer these following questions, then message me the answers. All right?